Hi everyone, I'm Ski Oakenfold, broadcasting live from Point Blank Music School in East London. Welcome to the penultimate session in the Academy of Electronic Music, brought to you by Google, Armada Music, DJ Mag and Point Blank. I'm course developer and tutor at Point Blank, and I've been putting the 7 winners and you through your paces on the Electronic Music Composition course via this series of exclusive Hangouts. If you've enjoyed learning about composition and production with us here at Point Blank and are interested to know what the full course is like, head on over to www.pointblankonline.net/electronic-music-composition and take a look at the contents. As an Academy viewer, you're entitled to a 10% discount off the course fees with this code. And you have until midnight on the 16th of November to use your discount code. So today we have a special artist hangout with music industry insider Chris Schweitzer. He's an Armada and a State of Trance regular, remixer for the likes of Above and Beyond, Dash Berlin and Armin van Buuren, and DJ at some of the world's biggest clubs. Chris is the definition of a rising star. His electro, house and trance-fused sound is tied together by his unmistakable bass lines, with almost every original release dominating the Beatport trance charts. We're delighted to be joined by Chris live from Argentina to give his advice to our 7 finalists and for you, our YouTube audience. So, how you doing, Chris?
Good. How are you?
Yes, great. Thanks so much for coming along.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. What have you been up to? Have you been busy?
Yeah, I'm always trying to get myself busy with productions and stuff. So.
Oh, okay. And you're DJing out as well?
Yeah, I'm DJing almost every weekend, so I'm really happy.
Fantastic. Well, I know that the guys are really happy to have you along, and they've got prepared a load of questions for you. But I just thought we'd kick things off with listening to some tracks of yours. You sent me over a few earlier today. So let's play the first tune. I'll play about a minute of each track, and then come back to you, and you can have a chat. We can have a quick chat about it. Yeah. So this first track, people might know, it's called Alive. Here we go. Cool, I can see the guys getting into it there. So, wicked sounding track. Can you tell us a little bit about that tune?
Well, Alive, it's kind of a really melodic trance. And then it hits with a really banger bass line, you know?
Yeah.
It's what I wanted to do for a long time, like combining melodic stuff with banging and clappy stuff for the crowd, you know?
Yeah.
That track, it's funny because I actually put my voice on the breakdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like a singing and it's actually me, so it was really fun to make.
Was that a first for you, the first time you'd done that?
It's the first time I sing on one of my tracks, but yeah. I already put my voice, you know, on the collaboration with Kid Beats on my track The Conquest.
Yeah.
It's always my voice, you know, that I do some changes and I put it there.
Great. Okay, well, let's check out another one now. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Okay. So this is Now or Never. Let's play a little bit in this time. That bass is just ridiculous. That is like, it sounds really wide. How did you get that bass so wide sounding when it drops?
It's it's about the layering, you know. There's like one really mono that gets like the fatness of the sound.
Yeah.
And there's just like 2 or 3 more that goes with a widening, you know.
Yeah.
High.
Yeah, I mean the contrast when it breaks is kind of stunning. You know, it's a fantastic sound. Great. Okay, we've got time for one more, and then we're going to shoot over to the guys with some questions. So this one is Reflections. Another wonderful sounding track. Just one of my questions, are you a trained musician? Did you teach yourself to play piano? Did you have lessons?
Actually, I never took lessons. It was my father actually teaching me how to play some drums, how to play some piano.
Yeah.
But I regret that I didn't went to musician lessons, you know.
Yeah.
It's really, really important, I think.
But, you know, I mean, the kind of arpeggios you're playing, you know, they sound great. Are they just kind of is that trial and error for you, just trying things out?
Yeah, I mean, it's all by ear, you know. It's
yeah.
like this note is good and this is not good, but
yeah,
it's just like that.
Great. Well, look, enough from me. I'm going to hand over to the guys now, and I'm going to kick off with Ramon. How you doing, Ramon?
Yeah, thanks, Guy. Hi. I'm good. And hi, Chris. Really, really nice to meet you. Yeah, my first question. From which devices comes your hard bass sounds? Like from your track, the Kraken or Reflections? I really love the bass.
Well, yeah, bassline is what I like to do the most. So I have no like hardware actually. It's all about the software, like the plugins. I use a lot of 3x oscillator, which come from FL Studio. I use a lot of silence and massive. And what I like to use a lot is samples, like putting a lot of one-shot samples and combining together and making layerings out of them. I think it gives like a really original side to the sound and sounds kind of powerful. So.
Okay, cool. And yeah, my second question: what are your inspirations to make sounds so different from a hard bass intro, you know, into a melodic trance break?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to make. You know, like really melodic trancey stuff, like really nice melodies and uplifting stuff, and then goes straight to the banging and hard bass line, which is what the crowd like. You know, like it gives a nice vibe to the nightclub. My inspiration, I think, is the crowd actually. Like going to the DJing in a party and watching the crowd go crazy with bassline and drops. It's what it gets me motivated to do more stuff like that. You know.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Great, thanks a lot, Ramon. Let's go over to Carolis. How you doing, man?
Hey, Ski, how are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you.
Hey, man, pleasure.
I've got a few questions as well. If you were to go back on when you started producing, what would you change and why?
That's a really good question, but I can't think of anything that I would like to change, actually. Maybe I would like to take music lessons, because they're really, really important when it comes to production. I can't think of anything else apart from that.
Great. I've another one. Your most important piece of advice to the Academy winners and for upcoming producers also.
You always, but always have to produce what you like and you want. You know, it's not, you don't have to produce something because you think it will sell or whatever, just once. You have to do whatever you feel like. If you feel like producing some trance, go under trance. If you feel like producing techno, do some techno. You just have to produce whatever you feel like, you know, because that's what we artists do.
Yeah.
Express ourselves in the moment, you know.
That's great advice.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Chris.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to go over to Adrian, and well, Vlad's not with us today. So how you doing, Adrian? Can you hear me? I'll come back to Adrian.
Hey,
oh, you're there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. So, yeah, and see you a bit as well. So.
Sorry, internet is my...
Okay, have you got some questions for Chris?
Yeah, Chris, hi.
Hey, man.
Do you hear me?
We can hear you here, yes.
Yeah.
Please tell us how can a producer like the ones at the Academy of Electronic Music get a collaboration with a big artist?
I think it has to be with the big artist has to like your sound, you know. You have to give them a reason to do a track with you. Like they have to be really inspired by your sound and really wanting to go and do a track with you.
Thank you. And my second question, do you think it's important to use analog gear for mixing your production? Like EQs, compressors?
Yeah, I have no hardware, as I already said. It's all about software. I do use EQ and compression, but it's just plugins, you know. And I can't really give you like a plugin that you will like. You just have to test them and see which one you like the most.
Have you always used software plugins? Have you ever had kind of any hardware at all?
No, I never had any hardware, so it's always been software.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's funny because we were talking to Christian Burns the other day, the vocalist, and he's got some analog gear, but it was all broken. He's got like a Roland Jupiter 8 and some other things, and it just he said it's too unreliable to use, so he ends up using software stuff. Yeah. That's the problem. Great. Well, thanks a lot, Adrian. I'm going to hand over to Ryan now. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Steve. How are you doing? You all right?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks.
Good stuff. Hey, Chris. How are things?
Hey, man.
Hey, good stuff. Yeah, I've got a few questions for you. In your tracks, how do you achieve such a big sound? What process do you put on like leads and stuff like that?
Well, you know they say less is more.
Yeah.
Well, it never actually worked for me. I can't work when I work less. I have to do like a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of layering. You know.
Yeah.
That's actually my main process, doing a lot of layering. For example, putting one bass line for the low end, then another for the mid, another for the high. And like this, I can go like for 7 or 10 layering for just one bass line, you know.
Have you got like a favorite kind of starting point of where you cut like leads and stuff, like, you know, low cut them, if you know what I mean?
Sorry?
Have you got a favorite point or where you start from, do you know, cutting like leads? Like, do you know, low cutting them on EQ?
Yeah, I usually cut everything below 125 or 150.
Right, okay. I've got another one. What do you think a producer needs these days to be successful in the music industry?
I think the most important thing a producer has to have nowadays is a unique sound, you know, because nowadays everything sounds kind of all the same, you know. So it's
Yeah.
really, really important to stand out for like ev- everything, you know. You have to have your own sound. It's really important.
Okay. Great stuff. Thanks for them.
Thank you.
Cool, great. So I'm going to hand over to Yuri and Raphael. How you doing?
Hey there. Hi, Chris.
Hey. Hi.
It's very nice meeting you. And I was wondering, what are your first steps when you start mixing, when you trying to do the mix down? What are your first steps?
Actually, it's funny because I don't do mix down. Actually, I mix as I go, you know. Uh, but I always like to put the kick on top and baseline and leads also like really, really loud, and then everything below that. Because you have to put like the most important like pieces of the track to sound louder.
Well, I was just going to say, what kind of monitoring do you have? Have you got kind of big speakers, or are you just mixing on headphones? How does it work for you?
Yeah, I have the KRK, the BXT6, and I love them. They are the best to me.
Yeah?
I heard
Nice.
a lot of monitors, and these are the one I like the most.
Great stuff.
I like case myself. Thanks a lot. And Rafa has a second.
Yeah, I have a question. What was the best way for you, like blogs or tutorials or other producers, or to improve your production skills?
Well, I think the best way has always been like trial and error, because that's how I learn. But what I always like to do is to read tutorials or watch video tutorials, but not just for the music I do, but for every style, you know, because you always get something new for every video you watch, you know. Like even if you don't produce dubstep, for example, if you watch a dubstep tutorial, you're probably going to learn something new that you can apply on your style. So that's really important for me.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Great stuff. So I'm now going to hand over to Jonathan. How you doing, Jonathan?
Hey, Ski. Hey, Chris. Nice
Hey,
to
man.
meet you. I heard that you use FL Studio. What do you think of the people that says that FL Studio is for beginners?
Oh, I think that's really old school, man, because at the beginning it was like more like a simple program, but nowadays it's like the same as Logic, Ableton, or Cubase. I test them all, and to me it's all the same. It's not about the program, but about the artist, you know.
Yeah. Okay. This is my second question. When I started with train music, there was not much fans as there are today, and it made it quite difficult. So something similar happened to you when you started?
Well, in Argentina it was kind of the same, because nowadays the scene is getting like bigger and stronger like every day. The trance scene, because we have Heat Beat, we have Thomas Heredia. It's getting really, really good. But 5 years ago, 7 years ago, it wasn't like a lot of fans actually here, you know. So it was kind of difficult, and it's kind of still difficult because we are like really far away from everything, you know. If you wanted to go to the US or Europe or whatever, it's all far. But it's good. The crowd here, I love it. It's one of the best for sure. Every DJ that came here can tell you.
Yeah.
They are really passionate about the music, so that keeps you really, really inspired and motivated to do more and more music. So it's a good thing.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
We've actually got a little bit more time, so are there any more questions that you guys have got?
Yeah, I have a question. How did you get booked? Did you go to the clubs, or how did you do it?
I have a manager here in Argentina, and then I have a booking agent that's from England. So they mostly do my bookings, you know.
Nice.
How important do you think it is to have a manager? I mean, did the manager come after you achieved a certain amount of success, or did you start off with a manager to help you?
I think it's a really important thing when it comes to bookings, you know, because it's kind of hard being a DJ and also doing your own bookings and negotiation, you know, like the fee and all that kind of stuff. Maybe, for example, me, I'm not good for business stuff, you know, so it's always good to have a man in charge of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. Any more questions, guys?
I have a question.
Okay.
Hi, Chris. What's your personal way to organize your music, and what advice would you give us?
Organize your music, you mean when
For your DJ sets? Yeah, for your DJ sets.
It's funny because I don't really organize it. I just throw all the tracks in the same folder, and then when I'm DJing, when I'm at the club, I'm checking what track I'm going to play. You know, it's not that I have them split by style or whatever. I just have everything in just one folder.
Okay.
And the best advice I can give you is to don't give up. You know, because for example, it happened to me that at the very beginning the track sounded horrible, and they were like really really bad. But you have to go and go. You know, you have to improve and try to be better every day. That's what I think.
Cool.
That's great.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, well, we've got a couple of questions that have come in on the YouTube comments. First of all, what is your inspiration for songs? How do you get inspired?
I get inspired from everything, you know, like from nature, from the weather, from my family, my friends. I think I can't produce music when I'm like sad or whatever. To me, to produce music, I have to be like, everything has to be okay, you know. I don't have to have any problem or whatever.
Do you kind of find that you'll sit down and you'll try and start something and you'll just get nowhere and you just end up giving up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the best advice to that, I think, is to go out from the studio, you know, because you're not going to go anywhere if you just spend like 4 hours in front of the FL Studio or Ableton or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just going to go nowhere. So just go out or play some games or go with your friends or whatever.
Yeah, there seems to be a kind of common thread of advice which kicked off with Armin van Buuren. He said the same thing. He was like, go and make a sandwich or, you know, play PlayStation or something. But I think it's that thing, you don't want the software to be kind of controlling you. You don't want to be seeking inspiration from a screen. You know, you want to be controlling it and, you know, manipulating it.
Exactly, and it happened to me that I spent maybe like 5 hours trying to do something, and you just running on circles, you know, going nowhere actually, if you're not really in the mood of doing music or inspired. Yeah.
Great. And one more question as well is, any tips on synthesis? You know, do you start with a preset and then start tweaking, or do you, I mean, I know you mentioned you use samples, but, you know, how do you approach your sounds?
Well, actually, I'm not really good at synthesis. So what I like to do is combine a lot of sounds. Like if you use like one preset, it's going to sound like, it's going to be a sound like everybody can make. But if you combine like 4 different presets and you add some processing on it and samples and sounds or whatever, you're gonna make an original sound out of them. So that's what I like to do, like combine a lot of sounds.
Great. So I know I've got a question, but how about you guys? Are there any more questions you've got for Chris?
What is the best piece of advice you can give us in order to mix properly?
The mix, well, there are a lot of laws when it comes to mixing, and there's a lot of instructions you can follow. But I think the best you can do is just trust your ears. You know, if you think that the kick should be in a certain dB level, just put it there. You know, trust your ears and trust you. You know, trust yourself.
All right, so just trust your feeling. Well, okay, thank you.
I was going to say, do you play out like unfinished tracks when you DJ of yours to kind of see how it sounds, and then go back in the studio and tweak it afterwards?
Every time. because I kind of work like really fast in the studio.
Yeah.
So I finish like 2 tracks per week, more or less. And I go to the club and test them out and see if they're worth it or not really, if I should make some changes or not. I have more than 400 tracks on my computer now.
Wow.
They're all unreleased, so.
Wow. Great. I'm just checking how are we doing for time.
Nice.
I think, yeah, we're reaching time now. Unless any guys have got any more questions? Actually, one's just come in here. Okay, here we go. Another one, hot from YouTube. Who's your favourite artist at the moment, Chris?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel really inspired by guys like W&W or Orient Newton, because they are doing like different stuff, you know. Like it's really they have the signature. You can hear a track and instantly tell it's W&W or Orient Newton or Andrew Rayel. They have their signature, and that's what I think is really important, as I already said.
Great. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I have a question.
Hey, Ramon. Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Have you some tips and tricks for us to make a really powerful intro? You know, I have the problem when I produce my music, the intros are sometimes really low, you know?
Yeah. Well, this is something that I learned just now, so that's a good question, actually. I used to put like a lot of stuff on the intro and just start constructing the track, like every track does, you know. But what I like to do now is like start with something like has to be really catchy, because you know when you hit play on a certain track, you have to be like it has to catch you like instantly.
Yeah.
So you have to put something that keeps you moving and keeps you really focused on the track, you know.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Great. Well, I'm afraid we've reached time now. Thanks, Christian, for all your input today. It's been fantastic having you here with us in this special hangout with the 7 winners. So yeah, thanks again and good luck with all your future projects.
Okay, thank you so much for having me here. It was a pleasure.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So yeah, if you're watching at home and want to try out Point Blank for yourself, don't forget you've got until 16th of November to claim a 10% discount off any of our courses using this discount code. So that brings us to the end of today's session. See you tomorrow live and direct at 3 p.m. UK time for, wait for it, the last hangout. Can you believe it? Yes, it's come to the end already, but we have just confirmed, hot off the press, that BT is going to be joining us tomorrow. That's right. The guy that is known to some as the godfather of dance music, to others he's the creator of the world famous Stutter Edit, so well loved in dance music today. He's known for his film scores including Monster and The Fast and the Furious, as well as masterpieces such as Skylarking, Flaming June, Must Be the Love, and collaborations with Tiesto, Armin van Buuren and many more. Don't miss the one and only BT. In the meantime, you can get access to loads of free tutorials and competitions by subscribing to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/pointblankonline. See you tomorrow.